Hi, let us continue from where we stopped in the last session. Let's focus on the challenges faced by modern day organizations. The first challenge is the uncertainty in demand and supply. Products have assumed the characteristics of fashion trends. Strong competitive forces are influencing buying patterns. The availability of product variety makes products extremely competitive. And there is a lot of external forces that causes disruptions in supply and demand patterns. Now, what are the implications of this challenge? Implications to the organization is they will have to respond to these changes extremely fast. And to respond to these changes fast, they need to be flexible. So flexibility becomes one of the most important characteristics that needs to be taken on board by organizations. The second challenge is shortening of product and technology cycles. The lifespan of a product has begun to shrink. What is popular in January loses its popularity by December. An example of this could be the fast-changing hardware and software trends. The number of mobile apps that are made available to consumers doubles and triples almost daily, weekly, and monthly. The advances in technology has become very fast-paced. Because of these advancements, new products are made quite regularly. And along with this, there is a greater product transitions that happens in the business world. So what are the implications of this on organizations? In order to respond to these changes fast, organizations have to redesign their supply chains to cater to the changing business environment. And for that, they require dynamic supply chains instead of static supply chains. Let's look at the third challenge. The third challenge is the multiple supply chain partners that organizations have today. Most organizations tend to outsource their non-core activities or activities and functions that they do not have competencies in. Organizations tend to retain those functions that they are competent to handle and outsource the rest. So managing these outsourced partners has become a great challenge to organizations. So what are the implications of this? The differential interests of multiple players, the different cultures, different ways of doing things, different value systems, all of these have to be harnessed together so that there is some sort of alignment. So Dr. Ho Lee, the Thoma Professor of Operations and Information Technology, Stanford Graduate School of Business, came up with this new concept of the triple A's. agility, adaptability, and alignment. He said, to meet the challenge of increasing demand and supply uncertainties, you need to build in flexibility into your operations. And that means your operations should be agile and should be able to change fast to accommodate the changing business environment. To meet the second challenge, shortening product and technology cycles, organizations need to adapt their internal processes and operations, and hence should make their supply chains more dynamic instead of static. To meet the third challenge of multiple outsourced supply chain partners, organizations need to align their internal operations with that of their partners. According to Lee, in addition to being efficient, supply chains should possess three very different qualities: agility, adaptability, and alignment, which he refers to as the AAA supply chain. So agility enables a company to handle unexpected external disruptions smoothly and cost efficiently, and most of all to recover promptly from shocks such as natural disasters, epidemics, and computer viruses. So the objective of agility is to respond to short-term changes in demand or supply very quickly. So the next slide gives you a snapshot view of an example where Nokia and Ericsson faced the need to be agile. You can read it, it's self-explanatory. Now, how can you make a company agile? What are the ways available to make a company agile? First and foremost, you need to promote the flow of information with suppliers and customers. They need to know what is happening in your own organizations. Second, there's a need to develop collaborative relationships with suppliers. You consider suppliers as stakeholders of your own organizations, in spite of the fact they are separate legal entities. The third point is you need to design your internal processes for postponement. Postponement means the ability to stop and start when the conditions are right. Fourth point, need to build inventory buffer by maintaining a stockpile of inexpensive but key components. Here we are not talking about building finished goods inventory. We are talking about building semi-finished components that can be used to assemble the finished goods fast. So in other words, we're talking about establishing a suitable decoupling point in the process. The fifth point, you need to have a dependable logistics system or partner. We should be able to move goods from point A to point B, from your organization to the customer, from a supplier to your organization, at a minimum cost and with 100% efficiency. The sixth point is to draw up contingency plans and develop crisis management teams. We go on the basis that change is the only thing that is permanent in the external business world. So in order to respond to this change, organizations need to build contingency plans and develop crisis management teams. Adaptability. Adaptability is the ability to adjust to structural shifts in market demand or supply. Modify supply network to company strategies, products, and technologies. Adaptability enables a company to evolve over time as economic progress, political shifts, demographic trends, and technological advances reshape markets. The objective of adaptability is to adjust supply chain design to accommodate market changes. This is an example of how Microsoft and Flextronics used the concept of adaptability to align their internal operations to suit external changes. So how do you make a company adaptable? First, you need to monitor economies all over the world to spot new supply bases and markets. Organizations need to be one step ahead of their competitors. Use intermediaries to develop fresh supplies and logistics infrastructure. Be prepared for changes. Evaluate needs of ultimate consumers, not just immediate customers. We are living in a complex business environment where our products and services can be used not only by our immediate customers, but the customers' customers as well. So you need to have an ear to the ground as to finding out the needs of the tier 2, tier 3 customers. Need to create flexible product designs. Consumers are not satisfied with one particular design. They need flexibility. They need changes. Need to determine where companies stand in terms of products, technology cycles, and product life cycles. Organizations need to be crystal clear as to the lifespan of a product or a service. So what is alignment? Alignment is to encourage free flow of information with suppliers and customers on a regular basis. The objective of aligning a supply chain is to establish incentives for supply chain partners to improve performance of the entire supply chain. Once your organization teams up with external stakeholders, then any decision that your organization make in terms of your supply chain operation has to be aligned to that of your partners. An example of this can be read in this slide. It's about how HP integrated circuit division had an issue with the HP's inkjet division because both organizations were not aligned. So making a company aligned is to exchange information and knowledge freely with vendors and customers. You lay down roles, tasks, and responsibilities clearly for suppliers and customers, and share risks, costs, and gains of improvement initiatives. Whatever improvements that you initiate and the gains these improvements bring about has to be shared equally among all partners and stakeholders. So a proposed model, the AAA supply chain helps in ensuring speed of delivery and cost efficiency in the activities for supply chain. The next few slides gives you examples of how certain organizations used the AAA to successfully manage their supply chains in the face of changes in the business environment. The first company is 7-Eleven, and how they use agility, adaptability, and alignment is narrated and can be read and understood by you. These are some of the other organizations that use the AAA successfully: Dell, Gateway, Zara, Mango. So, a framework for developing competitive market and supply chain management strategies. There are three things that you need to look at. Identify the demand profile for your product, service, which is very important. Understand whether the product are functional or innovative. Understand the generic types of supply chain management approach that can be created. Providing physical function, transform raw material into finished goods or service. Link your product and service to the right supply chain. Functional products should be produced through a physical, efficient, and lean supply chain, while innovative products through an innovative or market responsive supply chain. So these are your three competitive market strategy options that are available. Market differentiation. This is used on product and service innovation without major concern for cost reduction. And if you really want to capture market share, a market differentiation approach can be used. The second one is the market cost leadership. There you focus on removing all unnecessary waste that generates cost. And the third one is the market differentiation and cost leadership is a hybrid of the first and second. Which is the one which is being used a lot in the modern business world? So with supply chain innovation, with market cost leadership, and the hybrid, a mixture of market differentiation and cost leadership with supply chain innovation and process efficiency. This is the most ambitious approach, but more and more organizations are moving towards using this strategy. So in conclusion, companies need fresh attitude and new culture to their supply chain to deliver AAA performance, which is the need of the hour, need of the day. And organizations also must give up this efficiency mindset, which only focuses on cost. And they have to build their supply chains to be responsive to the changes occurring in the business world. Third point is, instead of taking your own interests only, you need to take responsibility of the whole chain. And that means you need to take care of the interest of your stakeholders that are operating in your supply chain. There are various technologies that are available out there. Technologies can't alone make these changes. Only managers can make this happen by understanding the requirements, understanding what needs to change in your supply chain to deliver the changes that are required in the external business world.